Okay, so let's go ahead and start. First off, I want to thank everybody for coming to this first broadcast from my home. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about virtual open house and virtual showings and virtual brokers opens and how to get it into Zoom. Okay, so let me go ahead and start. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. So hold on one second. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna wait for it. Let's see here. Yeah, so at any time, if the broadcast gets a little choppy, it probably has to do with the internet and because I'm broadcasting from home or whatever. And then we are gonna go ahead and record this on video, so don't worry about it. We'll put it out there, get it out to you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. This is virtual showings, open house, and showings using Zoom. Okay, so what we're gonna do is define some definitions, and we're gonna use Zoom, and then we'll go into inputting the thing into the virtual open house into Matrix. And then while we're there, we'll also go over how to do a virtual showing at the same time. Then we're gonna go live with Zoom. Well, sort of. We'll show you what it looks like if you went live with Zoom, and then we'll end up with the best practices. Okay. Oh, and then at this time, go ahead. If you have any questions, go ahead and then type it into the chat. We do have some people there. We have Debbie, and we also have Ed waiting for to answer any of your questions. So go right ahead and ask your questions. Yeah. And then they'll feed me the questions if not. Anyway, okay. So common terms. And this is the common myths and then the common things we're trying to get cleared up. Virtual open houses. Okay, so a virtual public open house is the same thing as an open house. The only thing it's virtual. So the public is actually viewing your live stream. So there's nobody there, but you're just broadcasting live, and that's what a virtual open house. Virtual brokers open, same thing. Depending upon what your region is, you either be on Wednesday or Friday. You live stream out your broadcast to the brokers, and they can view your property or preview your property via that stream. Okay, so virtual showings, same thing as a regular showing. The only difference is if you're the listing agent and a client wants to see your home, and then you can just go there, live stream from the property, and then the potential client or the client can actually, you walk through the home and so forth. You just describe it and so forth. Yeah. So that's the common things I think everybody's getting mixed up with. And then what they're getting mixed up with is virtual tour. Virtual tour is a pre-recorded either slideshow or video that's unbranded that we put into the MLS. Okay, so virtual tour is a pre-recorded thing. Whereas the virtual showings, virtual open house, virtual brokers open is a live stream, and that's the difference between the two. And then the very last one is the external link. We have a spot for that. It's actually an external, you can put a website in there. It can be branded or unbranded. And the reason, and you guys are going, wait a minute, I thought we cannot put anything branded into the MLS. That's true. However, this is only going to be seen by the members or agents. So that's why you can have it branded or unbranded. And the reason why you do that, let's say you have more than 25 pictures and you want to do other things, you have lots more pictures or some other things you want to show on the website, you can actually put the link in there. Okay, so hold on one second, something is blocking my screen. So virtual, why virtual and why now? Okay, so hold on one second. Okay, I went to this website and I saw virtual tours have a 40, this is just virtual tours now, which is the pre-recorded one, have a 40% higher click rate, 65% more email inquiries, 95% more calls on the virtual tours, okay, which results in a 49% more qualified leads because they're actually looking at it. They look at the pictures. Sometimes the pictures doesn't always tell the stories, but when you do a live thing, they can actually, or virtual tour thing, but the live would be just as actually better because they can actually see everything versus the pictures or the virtual tour. They only show, they may just show you selected things, and that's the difference between the two. Okay, and again, in accordance to, hold on one second. In accordance to the governor, mayor, the stay-at-home work from home, also with HBR and High Central, we have stopped at this point supporting the in-house open houses. Okay, so in-person showings must be by appointment only and in keeping with social distancing rules. Okay, so there are technologies that we're going to recommend at this time, which is Zoom and Facebook. So the Facebook will do it later this morning after this meeting. And however, it shouldn't restrict you from using other technology. Like if some people want to use FaceTime, that's fine. Google, Skype, or Microsoft Teams, whatever you're comfortable with, and also what your company approves or recommends. Okay, so we're going to jump in now to Zoom, how to set up Zoom. Okay, Zoom has all these different paid plans and free plans. If you choose the free plan, you can host up to 100 participants. One-on-one meetings are unlimited. If you do have a group meeting, I think it's a group is considered 3 or more. You can only, you have a 40-minute limit. And we did this the other day, and at the 40-minute, they were nice enough, and I'm not sure if Zoom is always going to be doing this, but they gave you an extra 10 minutes, but they gave you a warning, says you have 10 minutes before it cuts off. Okay, so to sign up for Zoom, you go to zoom.us, and then you click on the sign up button. Okay, so you're going to sign in right here. Let me move my screen. Hold on one second. And what is this? Okay, so once you get into Zoom, it'll jump you into your profile, and there's a couple things you should do right away. The first thing is to add your photo. Second thing is make sure you add your time zone. And then third thing, which is actually the most important part, is actually the your personal meeting ID or URL. Okay, so this is a permanent meeting ID and URL. So once you give it out there, anybody can actually come into a meeting. And that's why they were talking about the, in the previous videos in YouTube that I did, I do talk about something called the waiting room. I think it's a default setting now. So you have to, when people try to enter your meeting, they go automatically into a waiting room, and then you have to admit them into your meeting. So hopefully that'll reduce the chances of being video bombed. Okay, so with the URL, what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy that, and we're gonna use that later on in Matrix. So what we have to do is we're gonna have to copy it. So if you haven't copied it before, you take your cursor, you left click, highlight the URL, and then once it's highlighted, then we right click and we copy. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the Matrix side and then enter the open house. Okay, so we log into Matrix, go to the input module, and then we're gonna go ahead and select the listing. So here we're gonna go ahead and click on Manage Open House. And then we're gonna go into the Manage Open House module, and we're gonna choose the virtual open. We're gonna type in the date and time, and we have to, under active, select yes. Okay, so if you select no, then it's not gonna publish, but if you select yes, it will publish. Okay, and then here's the tricky part. We have to paste that URL into that virtual open house URL field. Okay, so to paste, if you haven't done it before, we click into that field with your cursor, and you right click and paste. Okay, and once you're done, we go ahead and submit the listing. Okay, so some key points before entering a virtual open house. you should check with your company or your broker to make sure you're adhering to the company's policy, and also of course, get an agreement, permission from your seller to do a virtual open. Okay. And just like you would do an in-house or open house, you have to follow the safety protocols and also adhere to the code of ethics rules. Okay. So if you are doing a virtual open, and you please keep the people that's going to be helping you down to a minimum, absolutely minimum. Okay. And then when they are there, please have them follow the social distancing rules. Okay. And this one here says follow the CDC guidelines to disinfect the property. Like in the video you can see later on, I would actually do it before and after. So all the places you are going to touch, go ahead and disinfect it, because you don't want to get it. So, and then after you leave, you sanitize it again. Okay. And the virtual open houses will be displayed in Matrix or in High Central and in other syndicated websites. Okay, we'll take a look at that right now. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like in High Central. And this is how it's going to look like in Zillow. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like in, let's see, Realtor.com. But the thing with Realtor.com for the present moment, they are not letting any virtual brokers houses with Facebook Live and Instagram Live links in their open house. Okay, it's just for whatever reason, just to let you know. You can use Zoom, but not Facebook Live or Instagram Live. Okay, so now since that was the open house, we're gonna go to the virtual showing using ShowingTime. Okay, so again, we're gonna log into Matrix and go to the input module. We're gonna go ahead and click on the property type. In this case, is single family. So this time what we're gonna do is go to the features module. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to the feature group called showing, which is number 27. So we're gonna go ahead and select the item for virtual showing. And then we're gonna go ahead and submit listing. Okay, so what you could also do as something that would be pretty nice is go back into the remarks section and then put that showings will be via Zoom or Facebook Live or what have you, and to make an appointment via ShowingTime. So you're just letting them know when they're looking at the listings, they can see that. Okay, so to get into ShowingTime, we can either use the dashboard or the external links. So once we're in ShowingTime, we're gonna click Setup Listing, Listing Setup, and we're gonna go ahead and click on our listing itself. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna scroll down to the section where it says additional instructions, and we're gonna put in the wording or verbiage that, hey, this is being live streamed, so please go to this link. And then once you finish with that, you go ahead and just click Save Changes. Okay, so again, showing points, same thing like the open house. You would want to, as an agent, get the approval from your broker or your company to adhere to their policy, and also get the owner's permission. Again, follow the guidelines, safety, and then adherence to the code of ethics rules. And again, provide the information into ShowingTime and also the agent remarks in Matrix. Okay, and then when you're at the virtual showing, if you do have someone helping you, please adhere to the social distancing protocols. And same thing, in any showing or virtual showing or virtual open house, please disinfect the property in accordance to the CDC rules, again, before and after. Okay, so now we're
Robert,
gonna go, yeah.
Robert? Yeah, this is Ed. Sorry, we got a couple questions here. Is that okay
Okay,
to answer some
sure,
questions
sure.
before we move on here? First question here is says, how do the appointment times work with the virtual open houses?
Well, with the virtual open houses, you would specify a time. So let me back up here. So let's see if I can get my thing up here. So the virtual open houses, you actually would, I don't know if you guys can see this. Wait. The virtual open houses, let's see if you can, I don't know if you guys can see this. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so here what you do is you schedule a time. You would state a time where you will be there and where you'll be broadcasting. Yeah. So in this case, they did a 1 to 1:40. And then they may switch off to another property from that. And I know I was talking to some of the, a couple of the agents the other day. Some of the things is what they're doing or what they're seeing people, other people do is that they have multiple virtual public open houses. So you'd go to one virtual open, and then so many minutes later, then they would switch to a second virtual open. And then they could switch to another virtual open. So it could be like they have, they will open up all the company's property. It could be by company. They will do all the properties in a specific neighborhood. And they could show all of those virtual open houses. Or they could do it by price ranges. They could say, hey, this is all of the houses in the 800 range. And then whatever all over the island. And it'll be interesting to see the contrast, what 800,000 will get you in different parts of the island.
Great.
Are you saying then to post that you're going to do it from 1 to 1:40 and from 2 to 2:15 and 2:30 to 2:45? I mean, and do it over and over and over again at the same property? And can you input all of those times into MLS if that's what you're saying?
Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, it's depending on how you guys want to do it. Some people are doing the same one, and then they just, as people come into the virtual broken out open house, because they'll come in at all different times, then they'll just go ahead and restart. And then they'll just start from the very beginning and go through the entire presentation. You know, just like, it's the same thing like open house, you know, people come at all different times. And then you just have to tell each one, hey, you know, this is the property. And some of the things I'll talk about later is that what you might want to do is start outside and then talk about the neighborhood and then go into the front door and then into the property and then do it that way. I think we have a video at the very end you might be able to see.
Ed, this is Kim. Kathleen, I think that they're doing that 40-minute section because of the type of program you've got on Zoom. So if you want to do a 1 to 3, you just need to make sure you upgrade your Zoom so that you can have it for that amount of time. I wouldn't go in and out personally. I would just pay for the upgrade and do it from 1 to 5 or 2 to 4 or whatever.
Correct. Yeah, good suggestion. Yeah, what some companies are doing is that they're showing like 3 or 4 of their listings. They may go from 1 to 3, and then what they'll do is that they'll just jump from one property for like 10 or 15 minutes. Then they'll jump to the second property, 10 to 15 minutes, and they jump to the third property, and then they go back and recycle. Yeah.
Hey, Robert, how you doing, man?
Sounds like Howard.
It is. Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. And your question?
Yeah, you finally let us in. We had 100 people on there before we got locked out.
Do you have any question? Go ahead.
No, we just got on.
Okay. Okay, don't worry because we're recording this and then we'll put out the videos.
Robert, one more question.
Yes.
This question is, do you have to input showing times every time you have a virtual open house?
That's a good question. You can. Not really. Well, it's up to you. You can put it in there or not. But if you put the virtual open house in Matrix, it will be sent out to High Central, like you saw, it will be sent out to Zillow and property, no, is that realtor.com and so forth. It'll be syndicated out. Yeah. So everybody, every website that actually does display the virtual open houses, it'll be on their website. So as we get more and more of you to enter your virtual open houses, then we probably will get more of these websites to, more and more of these websites will probably go ahead and display the virtual open houses. Okay, any more questions, Ed?
No, that is it for now. Thank
Where
you.
did I leave off here? Good questions. Yeah, keep your questions coming. Okay, so where was I? Okay, wait. Okay, so once you entered into Matrix, okay, we took the link from Zoom and we put it into Matrix. And then now we're gonna show you what it looks like if you went live you're actually at the property, okay? So first thing, this is actually an iPhone. So I installed the Zoom app and I'm gonna go ahead and click on the Zoom icon. Okay, so I have to sign into the Zoom, click on join meeting, and then just click on new meeting. So here you can turn on your camera and also turn on the personal ID. And then once you click start meeting, it'll actually ask you for permission to access your camera. Okay, and here it's going to say you might want to use the internet audio. I think I saw something this morning saying they might disable the dial-in. I think they may have been having trouble, but anyway, you'd use using the internet audio. Okay, so if you see this screen popping up, this is just a safety thing, safe driving mode. You can just swipe and then you can just jump into your live Zoom. So this is actually a live, what it looks like. You're actually broadcasting at this point. We'll talk about the settings here. So you can flip your cameras around. So zoom in. So this is what it will look like an iPhone. You can use your front camera, back camera, or if you need to end the broadcast, you can just hit end. Okay. At the bottom, you also have some more settings. Okay. So you can go ahead and mute and unmute. So let's say, like this morning, just before we started this meeting, I live closer to the airport, so I could hear the F-14s, I forget, well, F-35s take off, and then they do it very loudly. And I can mute them, and then, you know, or if you want to hear it, I can unmute it. And then you can also see on the right-hand side the participants, so the number of participants coming in to the live broadcast. And this is one thing we were talking about earlier. I was talking with one of the agents, is that how do you capture their information? So that's something that I'm not sure about either, because some of them they're using, telling them to use the chat and then put in their, you know, information. Tell them to email you.
Tour with you
And
so
hurry up, come and
you
listen.
can see it in real time. Yeah, I can go ahead and do that with you. And then from there, try to make an offer. The process generally in Hawaii is that we put in a we put in an offer. The seller takes a look at the offer, decides whether they want to negotiate or accept the offer, and then once
That's the thing about a virtual Zoom meeting. You never know what you're going to hear. Anyway, okay, very good. Okay, so the thing is, again, that's one of the things that you guys need to figure out how you're going to capture their information. That I'm really not sure. Okay, or what you could do in a chat, you could actually leave, send them to your website and have them get the information there. Information meaning like the fact sheet. So you can hopefully use the fact sheet to get them to register or something like that. Okay, so best practices. I'm gonna try this video. If it gets choppy, I'm gonna stop it, and then we can just I'll just do it. It's actually a 5-minute video, but if it's too choppy, I'll stop it after each section, and then we'll discuss it.
We are bringing you a how-to video to set up your virtual open house tours. Step 1, decide which platform works best for you, whether it's Instagram Live or Facebook Live or Zoom. Step 2, do a dress rehearsal. Familiarize yourself with the app you're using or the platform to make sure you know the ins and outs and all the details. Step 3, make sure you're advertising on all of your social media platforms. You're really reaching out to everybody that you know so you get as much traffic and as many eyes as possible during your virtual open house tour. Step 4, do a dry run. Practice walking through the home and talking about the special features and unique attributes the home offers. Step 5, make sure you have good cell reception at the actual open house. It's going to be important that you're not glitchy or choppy, so make sure you also practice with your cell reception going live and also seeing how well it works.
It's a little too glitchy, but basically what he was saying is that do a practice run, which is very good, and then to go to the property and then test out your Wi-Fi access. Because if it's too glitchy, then you may want to, if somebody else has a different type of self-service, that may be better. Like mine's here, unfortunately, I do apologize. I am using one that is not fast enough. In fact, I had to kick everybody out of their house, including the dog. Anybody that uses, or anything that uses Wi-Fi, I have to kick them out. But anyway, and it's still a little slow, so sorry about that. Okay, let's go on to, hopefully the sound is okay. I'm gonna go to the next one here.
Number one, just like hosting a regular open, get there early. I actually get there extra early. Of course, access the property with proper PPEs. I use the additional time to make sure anything I'm going to touch, I properly take care of it both before and after. And then of course, prepare it just like you're hosting. Once you are live, be yourself. Try to, well, obviously introduce yourself, introduce your company. If you're sitting for a different agent, make sure to properly reference them and their company as well. Thank people for coming. Make them feel welcome. When the virtual starts, people slowly log in, so try to give a little bit of bandwidth or time to people do that. But then it stays live after as well, or you can do it after the live event as well. So don't be too disheartened if there's only a few people there. Just keep going. Once you say hello, encourage them to ask questions, give feedback. The number one thing about this, it's all about the house. It's not about us. So, we will be in part of it, but for the main part, it's all about showing the house and the house features. So,
Okay, sorry about that. It's still pretty slow, but basically what it's saying, follow the proper CDC guidelines in sanitizing the portions that you're going to be touching before and after. Get there early, test out I saw something, there was a question about Wi-Fi. You can actually, if you don't have Wi-Fi in that home, you can actually use your cell phone. So make sure the reception on your cell phone is good, okay? Then again, like I said, you may want to use, if one service is not so good, like T-Mobile, you may want to try somebody that has Verizon or something. So hopefully try different cell services. And then the main thing, what he's saying also is that it's not about us, it's all about the property. And the thing is, yes, in the very beginning, go ahead and introduce yourself and your company. So in the chat, what you might want to do is put in your company, your name, company name, your license number or your broker's license number, whatever is required by your broker. Okay. Okay, so again, like you said, prepare, actually I'm gonna skip this one and I'm gonna come back to it because it's actually really important. Lighting, just like any open house, you go in, open all the blinds, the windows, because what you want to do is have the light come in. So, and preferably you want to have the light in front of you. Okay, so they can see you. Sound is also very important. If you have a wireless lavalier, it's optional. If you don't, then you can actually use your headphones that came with your cell phone. It's a lot better than it has. Your cell phone headphones actually has a microphone, and that microphone is actually better than your cell phone microphone. Okay. Of course, you want to have a good signal, Wi-Fi, or whatever you have on your cell phone. Again, you want to make sure it's there, because if it's going to be choppy, you may want to do something else. Use another phone or a different carrier or so forth. If you're working with a partner, again, social distancing rules apply. Again, keep your camera clean, the camera lens anyway. Maintain the confidentialities to all of the visitors, and make sure if you're going to be trying to work with any of these visitors, make sure you take the proper protocol, like asking them if they're working with another agent. Same thing like a regular open house. Okay. And then when you are doing the walkthrough, they're looking at a video and it's hard to tell the scale of everything. So if it has like a higher ceiling, like a 10-foot ceiling, 9-foot ceiling, you should go ahead and point it out. Or if they have special type of trims like crown molding or something, or if they have a, like say a stainless steel deep sink, double deep sinks, you should point things like that out. Or of course, appliances. If they have upgraded appliances, or new appliances, actually you would go there and I would actually point that out. So, oh yeah, scale of the rooms. Yeah, so if it's an extra large room, you might want to point it out. It says, hey, it has a king bed in here and it still has a lot of room. And make sure you have a spare battery, or make sure your cell phone is charged. If not, then go ahead and bring your charger so you can actually charge your phone if it's dying, because you might be using up a lot of battery. And don't be afraid to take a virtual dollhouse to walk through by doing a simple screen share. Okay, so I'm going to jump back up to the very top. Prepare. So what you might want to do is do several of these dry runs before you actually do it. Okay, so I know all of you have done brokers open or open houses before, so it's nothing new. The only thing new is using your camera. So the thing is, it does take a little time. So go ahead and start practicing today. So what you need to do is go ahead, practice, walk through your home and pretend this is you're doing a virtual open house, and just record yourself. And then you probably will have to do it several times. I know I have to do it. I don't know if you guys are familiar. When I do my matrix minutes, sometimes it takes me 20 takes just to do a 1-minute segment. Yeah. Okay, so practice. Okay, so questions.
Robert, one question here says, how do you maintain confidentiality of visitors? I think all participants can see other.
Well, that part in Zoom, especially when they register, when they go into Zoom, they actually put in their names. That part that you can't help. But let's say the thing is you ask them to put the email address, their email address to you, to send it to you in the chat. Make sure they go in the private chat area to send the email to you. Because if they send a chat to everyone, there's 2 sections in the chat, the everyone and also the private section. You want to do it privately to you. So that's why the other thing, that part I'm not really sure what there's different options you guys can do. You guys can put your information there and tell them, hey, email me, call me, and then you send the information that way. Or some of them may be comfortable enough, they're just going to email you. Yeah, so again, any questions that you guys have on this, go ahead and email us, tech support at highcentral@mls.com, or you can call tech support Monday through Friday, or you can call me on my cell. I'll be available this Sunday, so if you guys are doing it this Sunday, I'll be ready. And my mobile phone is down at the bottom. Okay, any other questions? People are still coming. People are still coming in.
So we'll have this recording available for ages that came in the middle of the webinar. So it's going to be available for everybody to view.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, we are gonna record this like Ed said, and then we'll see if we can get a handout ready. See if we can create that and then get that out there for you guys. But then again, like I said, if you're gonna do it this Sunday, I'll be available. And then, but then again, let's say test it out beforehand, just to make sure everything runs smoothly. And then, you know, like I said before, the thing is, you guys have done open house many times. And this is no different. The only difference is you're using a camera. And then, oh, one of the things, let me see if we can get a camera here. One of the things in your camera, when you're using it, don't do it this way, do it this way. So you want to do it wide, because a lot of the screens, you know, on your cell phones, they would turn it on and then see more of the property that way, okay? But other than that, yeah, just practice. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, one more question here. Can you have guests pre-register before admitting them?
Yes, so in Zoom, I believe, I'm not really sure, but I believe it's on the paid plan, not on the free plan. You're able to turn on the registration. And then what I found out this morning is that somebody asked me that the other day. I actually found that after you set up the meeting, then you go back into the settings, and then the settings will be there to allow them to register, to require them to register before they go into your meeting. So they put the name and email address. But the thing is, you might have to wait, because if you ask them to register, they may not want to come in. So it may be in the beginning, because this is something new, you maybe just let them through without registering and then see how it goes. And maybe later on, as time goes on, when they get comfortable, then you go ahead and then you require them to register. So I'm not really sure where the balance is at this point, because all of this is a little new. Because what you want to do first is encourage them to take a look at the property virtually, and then at second, and then you have to figure out how to capture their information. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Okay.
Good questions.
So a lot of people is asking where this video is going to be posted. It's going to be in our YouTube channel, folks. Search for us on High Central MLS on YouTube, and you'll see our other videos that we have online, and you can check there. We'll be posting the videos hopefully by end of today or early by next week. Again, it's High Central MLS when you search on YouTube channels.
Okay, any other question? Okay, somebody, I just saw something here. Somebody, can you disable everyone's camera and mic? Yes, you can. Okay, so as a host in Zoom, you can automatically mute their audio as they come in, and also mute, not mute, turn out or disable their video as they come into the meeting. Yeah. So when they come into the meeting, all you'll see is their mic is muted, and also you will see a black screen with their name. Yeah. Good question. Oh yeah, okay. This is from somebody said that when you're doing a walkthrough, what you want to do, it depends. You may want to use a gimbal, and a gimbal is something you mount your camera on, and then what it does is it stabilizes the phone from shaking. Yeah, so you can do it that way. If not, and I think they run about, well, it depends. It may be from 200 and down, maybe to 100 to 200. But also what you can do if you don't have a gimbal, as of now, it's just what you want to do is just walk slowly, and then try not to bounce up and down. So you kind of bend your knees a little bit and then walk slowly. Yeah, and then that'll be the same thing. But yeah, but it might be easier to use a gimbal. Yeah. The question here is, do you have to pre-qualify clients before setting up a virtual appointment? There's some talk about that. Let me see if we can get our MLS director to chime in on that one. Michael? So the
No,
question,
there's no need to pre-qualify a client for a virtual showing. Robert, would you
Yeah.
mind? You're doing a great job with the questions in the chat. Could you talk a little bit about doing a virtual walkthrough or a virtual open house from your desktop? So I've already recorded my 360 tour, and I don't want to be out at the property. I can do a desktop tour. Can you talk through that?
okay. Okay, so the thing is, you recorded a video already of the property, or it could be, you also have a virtual tour. You can actually broadcast from your desktop. You can have and then walk them through your virtual tour. Again, you're doing it live and you're commenting as you're going through the different, going through the property. Like, as you're walking in. So you would be showing your screen, your Matterport or your virtual tour, and then you'll be commenting or describing everything as you go in there. So you can use both. You don't have to be at the property at that same time to broadcast live. You can actually do it from your home or from your desktop. Anyway, not home, but desktop. Yeah. So like I said before, the thing is virtual open houses, brokers open, showings. These are all something you guys did before. The only difference is that you have a camera in front of you. So it takes a little practice to get comfortable with the camera, but other than that, it should be pretty simple. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah, so the thing is, you don't have to use Zoom. You can use Skype. You can use any other video conferencing program to broadcast. It's up to you. But mainly what you do is you want to get that URL or that link or the website address and then put it into the matrix. And then we will publish that so when people click on it, they can actually go to your video conferencing. Yeah, so you can use anyone. But then again, you need to check with your company or a broker just to make sure if it's okay. Okay. I'm looking at the Facebook. Yeah, so what's going to happen, I believe, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do the Facebook Live, how to broadcast using the Facebook Live into Matrix.
So, Robert, if I may.
Go ahead.
So, everyone on the call, thanks again for being here. We've tried to get to everybody's questions. Great participation. I appreciate it. The High Central, this is Michael Fry, Director of High Central MLS. The High Central MLS team is trained up on Zoom and Facebook Live. So we feel like we can support, 80 to 95% of all your questions on those two applications. Some of us are better on other apps as well, but for a consistent, experience, we prefer to standardize around Zoom and Facebook Live. For those of you that didn't or weren't able to join us at the beginning, we kind of set the stage up front on that. Please call us at any time. We're here. We want to help, and we know that even in these trying times, that business is still going on, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support you all on the front lines of real estate. So please give us a call. Let us help.
Yeah, so somebody asked for the phone numbers. You can go ahead and call us. We'll be more than happy to help you and walk you through. Again, like I said, the hard part is not setting up the matrix or setting up the Zoom. The hard part is actually practicing with your camera. Yeah, that takes a little time. But like I said before, you guys done it many times. So once you guys get used to it, it'll be like anything else. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, let's see. I can't.
There's a question with an exception of people being able to ask questions. Is there a benefit of a live open versus a pre-recorded open?
Good question. So the difference of the live open versus a pre-recorded open that you're describing, or what is another word for describing? But anyway,
if it's pre-recorded, it's a virtual tour.
Yeah.
A virtual open house is a live event, as is a virtual showing. we think there's a lot of value in having a live virtual showing or like virtual open house. Does that help?
Yeah. Okay, so live will probably be better because they may ask you questions versus if they ask you to go outside, can we see what the neighborhood is? And then some of the videos I watched on YouTube, and this is, I'm watching this one agent from Las Vegas. He actually starts from outside and he actually pans around 360 to see what the other houses around the neighborhood looks like, and then he walks into the property. And that's why the thing is, like I was saying earlier, when you do your virtual open house or virtual showing, I would actually do that, start from outside and then go in, so they can actually get the full feel of what the neighborhood looks like. And then when you are outside, before you start your presentation about what's in the house, talk about the neighborhood. Say, hey, the reason my client bought this neighborhood because of this, this, and this. They're close, convenient to the freeway, they're convenient to the stores. This is a nice neighborhood, that kind of thing. And then I would walk into the house and then, okay, this house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet under the roof and a 3-car garage. Oh, that'd be a nice 3-car garage. 2-car garage and so forth. And the bedrooms are really big and, things like that. Yeah. So it'll take trial and error, and then you just do, and then you can modify your things as you go along. So versus like I said, the virtual tour, down you'll be describing everything as you go through. So, but I think they'll get a little bit more value because they already saw your hopefully they saw your virtual tour already. But if not, then yeah. But then again, if you cannot get to the property, then and your only choice is using the virtual tour, then I guess that's what you use, and you do it that way. Okay. Any other questions? Ed?
No questions available.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And I thank you guys for coming. And one thing I have to say, and I try to say this to everybody now, is to stay safe and take care of yourself and your family and everybody around you. Okay, so with that, thank you guys for coming.